The silence inside the Grand Convergence Hall was not the peaceful kind. It was the tense, electric quiet that came before mockery, before laughter, before 1,000 years of galactic pride found a new target. At the center of the vast chamber hovered the holographic projection of the approaching fleet. Fleet singular. A single ship drifted forward through the void toward the Tri-Arch Alliance border. One hull, one transponder, one faint human signature. Counselor Threxel of the Vorn clicked his mandibles in disbelief. There must be an error. Rerun the scan. The projection flickered, recalibrated, and returned unchanged. One ship. Ambassador Lurian of the Crystalline Elisari refracted light in a pattern that translated to amusement. The humans were given a formal ultimatum: surrender 3 frontier systems, dismantle their military shipyards, and submit to Alliance oversight. In response, they send 1 vessel? A ripple of laughter moved through the chamber, tentacles quivered, wings fluttered, spines rattled. The Tri-Arch Alliance was not merely powerful, it was ancient. Thousands of species, millions of warships, civilizations that had risen and fallen while the Alliance endured. When they spoke, stars listened. When they threatened, galaxies complied. And humanity knew. Loud, stubborn humanity had sent 1 ship. Supreme Strategist Caron leaned forward, his 4 eyes narrowing. Perhaps it is a diplomatic courier, a symbolic gesture of surrender. No, said Archivist Sunvo, her voice smooth and cold. Human signals indicate full combat readiness, weapons charged, shields active. That earned a pause. A bluff. Then, Threxel said, they rely on bravado. The species is known for it. Another counselor tilted his avian head. Still, why only 1? The question echoed, unanswered, as the human ship crossed the border. On the bridge of the UNS Perseverance, Captain Mara Ilias stood with her hands clasped behind her back. The bridge was quiet, not with fear, but with focus. Officers moved efficiently, displays scrolled with impossible amounts of data. Alliance fleets are mobilizing, reported Commander Reyes. Long-range sensors show over 8,000 capital-class vessels, plus carriers, escorts, and planetary defense arrays. Mara nodded, as expected. Lieutenant Chen hesitated. Ma'am, permission to ask the obvious question? She allowed herself a small smile. Go ahead. Why did we only send 1 ship? A few crew members glanced up, though they already knew the answer, or thought they did. Mara turned, eyes steady, because this isn't a war. The Perseverance slid deeper into hostile space, alone against an empire. The Tri-Arch Alliance fleet assembled like a wall of steel and plasma, ships the size of continents locked into formation. Energy signatures flared as weapons systems powered up, enough firepower to sterilize entire systems. Admiral HFY Sci-Fi watched from the command spire of the flagship Dominion of Stars. Her species had ruled battlefields before humanity had discovered fire. She felt no fear, only irritation. Open a channel, she ordered. Let us hear their surrender. The channel opened. Captain Mara appeared, human and unarmored, wearing the simple dark uniform of the United Nations Space Command. This is Captain Mara Ilias of the UNS Perseverance, she said calmly. We acknowledge your ultimatum. HFY Sci-Fi's voice boomed through translators. Then you acknowledge your defeat. You stand before the combined might of the Tri-Arch Alliance with a single ship. Explain this insult. Mara's lips curved faintly. It's not an insult, it's a courtesy. Confusion rippled across alien command decks. A courtesy? HFY Sci-Fi repeated. Yes, Mara said. We didn't want to send more than necessary. The channel cut. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the Alliance fleet opened fire. Thousands of beams, torpedoes, and kinetic projectiles converged on the lone human ship. Space itself seemed to burn as the barrage struck. On the Perseverance, alarms sounded, not warnings, but confirmations. Impact registered, Shen said, shields holding. Another volley struck. Shields at 98%. Another. 97. The Alliance commanders stared as the human ship remained, its silhouette unchanged, its advance unbroken. That's impossible, someone whispered. HFY Sci-Fi snarled, increase firepower, target all frequencies. They did. The void became a storm. The Perseverance did not slow. Captain, Reyes said, they're escalating to planetary-grade weapons. Mara nodded. Good. Record everything. A massive beam struck the ship head-on, a weapon designed to crack moons. The shields rippled. Hull integrity? Mara asked. Untouched, Chen replied, awe creeping into his voice. Shields at 94%. The Alliance fleet fell silent, not by command, but by disbelief. How? HFY Thala demanded. What technology is this? A junior analyst stammered. Scans indicate the shields aren't absorbing the energy. They're redirecting it, folding it. The energy is going somewhere else. Where? HFY Thala snapped. The analyst went pale. Into subspace reservoirs inside the ship. Mara reopened the channel. Are you finished? She asked politely. HFY Thala stared at the human. What, are you? Mara's gaze hardened. Just a fraction. We're the species you ignored when we asked to be left alone. The Perseverance finally responded. It fired once. No grand barrage, no spectacle. A single pulse. The beam crossed the distance instantly and struck the Alliance flagship, not exploding, not burning, but phasing through shields as if they weren't there. The Dominion of Stars went dark. Not destroyed. Deactivated. Every system, every weapon, every engine offline. A ripple of panic surged through the Alliance fleet. What did they do? We've lost connection. Our reactors are failing. No, they're dormant. The Perseverance fired again. And again. Each pulse targeted a different ship. Each pulse left a drifting hulk intact, powerless, silent. Within minutes, thousands of Alliance vessels were floating, helpless. The humans had not destroyed a single one. On the Alliance command decks that still had power, terror replaced arrogance. This is impossible, HFY Thala whispered. One ship cannot. Mara interrupted gently. Captain to Admiral, you misunderstand something important. The channel stabilized, filled with the image of a human who had not raised her voice once. This ship, Mara continued, is not a battleship. HFY Thala's eyes widened. Then what is it? It's a demonstration vessel. Silence. Mara gestured, and the hologram behind her shifted, showing schematics far beyond Alliance understanding. The Perseverance carries a localized reality enforcement field, she explained. Inside its operational radius, physics behaves according to our preferences. That violates fundamental laws, HFY Thala shouted. Mara nodded. We know, we rewrote them. The words hit harder than any weapon. We didn't send a fleet, Mara said, voice calm but absolute, because fleets can be fought, fleets can lose. We sent one ship to show you that numbers no longer matter. Around the Perseverance, space itself began to change. Stars dimmed, then brightened, as if reality was holding its breath. What are you doing? HFY Thala asked, fear naked now. Ending the war, Mara replied. She raised one hand. Simulation complete, Reyes announced. The field collapsed. Instantly, every disabled Alliance ship rebooted, systems came back online, weapons rearmed, reactors stabilized. Nothing had been permanently harmed. Except pride. You see, Mara said, we could have erased your fleet, or your home systems, or your history. HFY Thala swallowed. Why didn't you? Mara leaned closer to the camera. Because we remember what it's like to be small, she said, and because we don't conquer anymore. The Alliance Admiral was silent for a long moment. Then she lowered her head. The Triarch Alliance withdraws its ultimatum, HFY Thala said, and requests negotiations. Mara smiled, not triumphantly, but with quiet relief. Accepted, she said, on equal terms. The Perseverance turned, its single engine flaring softly, and began the long journey home. In the Grand Convergence Hall weeks later, the story had already become legend. A junior diplomat asked the question everyone still whispered. Why did the humans only send one ship? Archivist Sunvo answered, her voice reverent. Because one was enough, she said, and because they wanted us to survive the lesson. Across the galaxy, species began revising their doctrines, their histories, their assumptions. Humanity had not arrived with fire and conquest. They had arrived with restraint. And that terrified the stars far more than any armada ever could.